Okay. Hello, everyone. Today, the topic which we are going to discuss is you can say mother of every field in cloud and DevOps almost. If I say it's a mother, it's mean everything comes from it. Uh, so today we'll be discussing all about Linux. It's a very famous, you can say, operating system for now. You might have heard like Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, because mostly we are people who works on Windows or Mac or Apple laptops or something. So normally the common user, they don't know much about Linux. But if you go in the service provider on the cloud world, everything is all about Linux, be it a supercomputer, be it a Raspberry Pi, small, you can say microcontroller, everything runs on Linux. Even your mobile phone, which normally we have in our hand all the time, like Android, the base is Linux. Even your router, Cisco router, Huawei router, the base OS is all is connected with the Linux. So the knowledge of Linux is inevitable if you're learning cloud or DevOps or Kubernetes or any field. Because if you know how to manipulate work with Linux, your life will be easy. For example, if I want to work in a Docker or Kubernetes or Ansible, definitely the knowledge of Linux will help me a lot. Now, if you can see the picture over here, there are multiple distributions are mentioned over here, like Ubuntu, CentOS. These are different flavors. You can say different variants. All are using Linux kernel, but every you can say company, for example, Ubuntu or CentOS is from Red Hat, Debian is another company, Ubuntu is another company. So they have just manipulated their you can say UI and different little commands. But the main kernel is something which is, you can say, the core of OS, of any OS. It's like the brain of your body. Brain is the one which controls everything. Be it is your hand, your leg, your thinking and everything. So kernel is something like a brain. So brain controls everything with the help of ABCD XYZ parts. The same thing goes for the operating system. The kernel is the main core or main essence, and it controls different, like you can say, the resource management, the application, the softwares, and everything, whatnot. So if we say like Ubuntu has ABC configuration, maybe CentOS has something different. It's the example I can give you is very simple. Like we all have Android mobile. I have Samsung. You might be having Huawei is one. Somebody has Xiaomi. All are using Android OS, but there are a little bit difference in their icons, their configuration, their you can say menus and everything. So same goes for these. So you can download easily, and mostly are there open source. Open source does not mean always free. Open source means their source is open. You can use it, you can take it, you can modify it as per your need. But if we go on the other side, like for example, closed loop system, for example, Windows, Mac, you don't know what's their configuration, what's their basic source of lines of code, and you cannot modify that. But on the Linux, this is the beautiful thing. You can modify, you can make Linux of your own company, even on your name. And there are almost, you can say, more than 5,000 distributions are there. But the more famous one are like hundreds or 200s. So being leader, being Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, Fedora, these are the leaders. Mostly we are dealing with them. And one question which is always being asked is which Linux flavor we should use. So what I suggest is to use Ubuntu in the start and then move to CentOS and Red Hat. And if you have Debian and Fedora, that's fine. But to start with Ubuntu, Ubuntu is more easy, more compatible with the Windows environment, something like that. So it would be good to have the Ubuntu. And let's discuss something. Some key points why we are learning this. Almost top 500 computers in the world that are supercomputer are using Linux. All top websites are using Linux as a server. Like almost 97% of servers in the world, top 1 million servers, they are using Linux. So why not we are learning Linux? There's a bunch of material available on the internet, but it is one slide, or you can say some group of article which I have written few months back. You can refer this as well. But what we are more interested is to learn Linux for our cloud journey. And the very best thing about Linux is that now Windows is giving you an opportunity to use Linux by using WSL, Windows Subsystem Linux, and you can easily activate this on your Windows 10, Windows 11, and that are very much effective way to use. And you can practice on the go. On the other hand, if you don't want to run Linux on your Windows machine, or maybe you don't have the permissions, it's always good to use some online tutorial or online platform like Linux shells, or maybe you can use Creato. That is very good platform where you can use any tool. For example, let's go to Linux. And definitely there's a bunch of commands, and we are not going to discuss all these commands, but you can learn at least some common commands, how to manipulate. It's more like, you can say, it's like maths, or you can say it's formula. It's very simple. If you are working on Linux, you will start loving it. Let me check. Yes, these are the commands. There are hundreds of commands written over here. Maybe you can take any cheat sheet and you will love. But I'll be telling you some very effective ways, some effective commands which will be helping you a lot. For example, like someone shared on a group as well, like if you need to create 1,000 files, you don't need to create by writing. For example, if I touch and then file name, file one dot txt, and then file two. No, you can just simply do file menu one triple dot and then 99 and dot txt. So simple. And when you run ls, then you can see, okay, what we have done is one thing, file one is created. Okay, there is a one mistake, which it says 3 dot. Okay, now you can see in one command I can have multiple files are created, and easily you can manipulate these files with simple one command. And one more command which comes to my mind is cd. Cd is always very effective command. It is used for changing directory, but it has many features. For example, right now I create one directory, mkdir folder 1, and again I'll create one folder, mkdir and folder 2. So what I have done, I created folder 2 in folder 1. Okay, so now I can easily write cd and then folder 1, then again I'll write cd folder 2, and I can write pwd to see where I am. I'm standing right now in root, folder 1, folder 2. But if I want to go to directly to the home, so I don't need to go like cd dot dot and then one step back. No, I can do what? I can just write cd and enter. So now you will see the magic. I'll back to my root. So cd dot dot gives you one step back, but if you write cd, it will go directly to the home. And even you can do one more thing, cd and you can write whole command like folder 1, folder 2 together. So you can jump 2 or 200 step in a one go. That's not the problem. And also one is cd backslash cd backslash cd dash, sorry. So what it's like undo where I was in the last time. You can got to know okay, bhai, where I was. So you have multiple options available for cd. That is also written in my article as well. You can see as well. And another command is of you can say about move. Move is not only mv is not only used for moving, but it's also used for rename. For example, I write move uh, file file one. Okay, let me see if I'm standing over here. Okay, so I back to again on the root, and now I can see there are a bunch of files available. Yes, and what I would do, I write mv file file one. Now I want to change the name to file one, file dash one. Okay, first let me see if file one is available or not. Okay, that is file one dot txt. Okay, that was my bad. So I can write file one dot txt, but I want to change like file dash one dot txt. So you can see my task was completed. All the files are without dash, but this one is with dash. Okay, so here is one more thing. The alias command is always very effective. For example, I write every time clear, but I don't want to write clear every time, so I'll make one shortcut alias cc is equal to clear. Whenever I write cc, then it becomes clear, sorry, double c, and my screen will be clear. You can give any command, for example, alias, and you write bb, for example, or sorry, bb is equal to, then is, and you can write any command. Touch, whenever I write bb, so touch any file, touch file. Sorry, you can write any command, file 9000, enter. So if I write bb, triple b, sorry, so what it would do, it will create this file. If I write again, what happened? It will give me an error that this file is already created. Here is the file. Okay. Okay. Now I would do cc because I know cc is the short form of this. Okay. And Linux is very documented. If you struck anywhere, for example, I don't remember for a while that what is the command for creating directory or removing directory, or maybe I missed some of the part. So man is the one which always helps you. Man is the short form of manual. So you can write man and rm. So he will give you whole detail. For example, you don't, if you are not available with the internet, so you can easily find all the information regarding any command or any directory or everything. And also he will give you some examples and all the relevant stuff. Okay, that was one good thing. And the other thing is the architecture. Because if you have noticed one thing, that whenever I write change directory, for example, folder one, then backslash, then folder two. In Windows, we have normally have the forward slash, but here it is a backslash, and that, and also if you notice, any website has a backslash as well. For example, if you can see here, Creato slash backslash and then blah 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 blah. So then this gives you another good example that Windows is not the one which is being used under the web servers. Mostly Linux is used, and also the for the cloud part, Linux is being used. So the structure, the hierarchy is from the Linux. In the internet, in the cloud, in the DevOps, in the Docker, every field almost. So that is one more you can say thing to add in your mind. And let's move to one more architecture. Let's suppose I write ls and I can see multiple files and everything. But what if I write pwd that shows print working directory? Right now I'm standing in root. I'm right now I'm working in a root directory. But let's say if I go back one layer back, so I write cd dot dot. Now, if I write pwd, now you can see right now I am standing at the root. This is the root location. This is the, you can say, initial location, or you can say the starting point. This is the root directory. Okay. So if here I write ls or listing, so you can see different directories. So these directories are basically the architecture of Linux. What does that mean? There's a one bin directory. It's same like anything related to binaries are installed over there. Boot is the one which is like our C drive, our Windows folder, where everything related to boot are saved. And root directory is the one which is the home location for the root user. Media is something which is used for storing, you can say, all the medias like hard disk, your CD-ROM and everything. And before moving to the further folders, let me tell you two very interesting things about Linux. In Linux, everything is a file. Your file is a file. For example, you create one file, touch my file.txt, and you open it in any of your favorite IDE, text editor or something. This is my first file, Control X. So this is the simple file which contains some text. That's fine. But everything is a file. Even your hard disk, your resources like your CD-ROM, your mic, your camera, everything is being stored in a file, in a form of a text. For example, if I go to media, you will see every directory, every detail is stored in a sort of a file. And even your if you mount some drive, it will be saved like a file. So everything is a file, and mostly it is extensionless. In Windows environment, normally we say if it is .txt, it's a text file, and if it is .mov, it's a video file, and so on and so forth. But in Linux, you can create like a file. I create one file. Touch is a command which is used to create file. I write touch and write file for Linux. This is my file name, file for Linux, and I did not put any extension. Even I can open this and added list like this. I can add anything, numbers, text, blah, 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 blah. I can add anything and I can quit. Yes. And if I want to see if it is safe, yes. Cat means to show. Voila. So I got all my data available. So right now you see two files. One was my file.txt. It has some text files. That is a text. But even in a file which has no extension, it saves data. So now anyone can ask one question, that how do we define that this file is for this and this file is for that? How do we know that which file is for uh, which file is for? Everything is being saved in a form of text, be it your text file, be it your video, your audio, your everything. So whenever you write something in a file, or you can do one more command. Let me remember. It's file minus v, I guess. I think this was the file name. So what you can do, everything is being saved as a text file, be it you can say, you can do one thing. For example, you can write file and then put the file name. So he will tell you this is what type of file is this. This is the ASCII file. If you don't know about the extension, you can do this option. So you can take any file and just write command file and then the file name. It will tell you what is this and how it is being used. Okay, so that is the one idea. So back to the folders again. Okay, and one more alias. When we write ls, it shows listing. But if I write ls minus al, it means show me hidden files and the long listing. Or you can do one thing, you can write ll also, long list. So now you can see all the directories are showing with complete details. What are the uh, permission, who is the owner, what's the size, what's the name, what is the exact name, is what is its type. For example, D means directory, dash means it's a file. Even color can show you that etc is a directory, but file for Linux is a file. On the other hand, myfile.txt is also a file, but proc, or you can say process, is also a folder, root is a folder, opt is a folder, and you can see different folder. So let me tell you few of the folders which might be helping you. For example, if you are standing on the root, or you can say root is like a CEO, it has multiple departments. Bin store all the binaries, opt is an optional folder, boot is something where you store different files which is normally used in the booting process. Root, I told you, it's a root directory, it's a home of root user. All the other users are being stored on a different home. Look on home, for example, I have 5 user configured in the Linux. One should be root, which will be the master of everything, and I created user 1, user 2, user 3. So every one's home is under this home folder, but only root home directory will be under the root. So I repeat that sentence. Only root user has a head office over here, but every other has head office under home directory. And then we have etc. etc is something like a program file, like in Windows. If I compare, lib is something for the libraries, usr is for the user folder, which includes different folders. It has bin as well, it has include library and all that stuff. And then media is very much evident, it is used for the media files. And mnt, when you attach any external device or something, it will come over here. And var or variable is the folder where you have different files. For example, it has logs, it has temporary file, it have cache, and tmp folder. There's one tmp folder as well. Yes, here's a tmp. There are two temp folder. One is on the root and one is under the var. This folder has uh, the availability, so anybody can access this folder. It's like a drawing room of your home. Anybody can come over here, but it has the facility of storing data for a short period of time. After some time, it gone, and you can see all the details of every folder. Maybe you can follow any article or anything, but just to give you a basic idea, you can see how these are being managed. So this is all about, you can say, directory structure of Linux, because Linux is very much specified, very designed and everything, because everybody is using. So it should be very categorized, very uh, effective way to communicate. So every folder has a specific duty, and every folder has a specific task to do. So now I would ask you if you have any question or